It is
I
my
follow
time.
you on your social media posts that
It is
tear
my
this country
time
apart.
to address
There should be a
your
unifying-
falsehoods.
Oh,
You
Senator
are an
Booker. You can try
embarrassment
all
to the
you
division
want
in this country.
to not
Senator
take
Booker.
It is my
responsibility
time.
for what
You
you
had
have
your
said.
time.
On September 16, 2025, the Senate Judiciary Committee held what began as a routine oversight hearing. It quickly turned into one of the most dramatic confrontations in Congress. FBI Director Kash Patel faced Senator Cory Booker, a former Newark mayor and Rhodes Scholar known for standing his ground. On that day, according to a report from the U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary, Senator Booker confronted Patel with information from multiple whistleblowers who claimed Patel had been personally directing the removal of senior law enforcement officials at the FBI. This admission was on the record, included in a lawsuit filed by 3 FBI officials Patel had fired. According to the report, Patel told the audience he had advised Trump to fire senior officials in the Justice Department and expressed regret over the appointments of Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein and FBI Director Christopher Wray. If you're new here, consider subscribing. You're about to see an FBI director's credibility unravel, not because of partisan attacks, but due to his own admitted actions. The lawsuit that changed everything. Before we get to tea before the confrontation, it's important to know what happened 6 days earlier. On September 10, 2025, 3 former top FBI officials filed a federal lawsuit that put major pressure on the Trump administration. Brian Driscoll, former acting FBI director, commander of the elite hostage rescue team. Stephen Jensen, former assistant director, Washington Field Office. Spencer Evans, former special agent in charge, Las Vegas Field Office. These were not entry-level agents. They were highly experienced experts in counterterrorism, international investigations, and violent crime, with decades of service. The FBI could not afford to lose people like them. And in August 2025, Kash Patel was fired. According to the lawsuit, Patel admitted to Driscoll in a private conversation on August 5 that he knew the firings were illegal. Here are the exact words from the lawsuit. Rings were illegal. Let me read you the exact words from the lawsuit. Patel explained that he had to fire the people his superiors told him to fire, because his ability to keep his own job depended on the fact that he was firing experienced agents to protect his own. The lawsuit continues, to save his own position. But it gets worse. The lawsuit continues. Patel explained that there was nothing he or Driscoll could do to stop these or any other firings, because the FBI tried to put the president in jail and he hasn't forgotten it. Trump hadn't forgotten, and Patel was carrying out political retribution against law enforcement officers who had done their jobs. Then came a critical admission. Patel acknowledged that firing employees based on case assignments would be in direct violation of internal FBI processes meant to adjudicate adverse actions and prevent retaliation. He again commented that he knew the nature of the summary firings was likely illegal and that he could be sued and later deposed. Read that again. Patel's own words were likely illegal. He knew it was illegal but did it anyway. The lawsuit describes a systematic campaign, not just against 3 agents but as part of a larger purge. In late January 2025, days after Trump's inauguration, Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove, who was just confirmed as a federal judge, met with Driscoll and demanded rosters, lists of agents, specifically agents who worked on the January 6th investigations. Why summary terminations, mass firings? Bove told the House Deputy Chief of Staff was demanding the purge. The White House wanted names, and they wanted those agents gone. Driscoll refused to comply. Driscoll refused to comply because he knew it was illegal to fire agents based on their case assignments. Such actions would be retaliation, obstruction, and an abuse of law enforcement for political purposes. As a result, Driscoll was fired. Thai FBI Director Dan Bongino, Yes, the right-wing radio host is now Deputy FBI Director. That the FBI was spending a lot of political capital to keep Jensen in his job despite his role in the January 6th investigations. In May, Bongino ordered Jensen to fire an agent named Walter Giudina because Giudina had worked on Trump-related cases. A report from Newsmax alleges that Giudina was connected to the Mueller investigation and suggests he may have improperly wiped his government-issued laptop, potentially deleting important records related to the Trump inquiry. Spencer Evans was fired for allegedly being overzealous in handling COVID-19 vaccine exemption requests, though he does not recall ever denying anyone an exemption. This appeared to be a pretext to remove someone the Trump administration wanted out. FBI pilots weren't safe. Chris Mayer, a pilot for the FBI plane, was falsely identified online as having been a case agent in the Mar-a-Lago documents investigation. He was, but Trump loyalists wanted him fired. Driscoll refused. Driscoll was then told Mayer couldn't fly Patel anymore. When Driscoll still refused to fire Mayer outright, he was fired himself. Mayer was fired later. This was reforming the FBI. This was purging. It was not reforming the FBI. It was a purge that removed decades of expertise and targeted anyone who investigated the president. This was on September 16th. 6 days after the lawsuit was filed, on September 16th, Kash Patel appeared before the Senate Judiciary Committee for his first oversight hearing as FBI Director. Senator Cory Booker had read the lawsuit thoroughly, including every allegation and admission, and came prepared to challenge Patel's credibility. Precision. Mr. Patel, in just 8 months, you have assaulted the institutional integrity of the FBI. Notice the phrasing. Not damaged. Not Quez Booker's choice of words was deliberate. He said assaulted, framing it as an attack on the institution itself. I've worked with them in Newark. No matter how truly bad you are, you can't undermine the legacy of agents who fight every day to keep us safe. But you can tarnish the integrity of the agency and undermine the agency's capacity. Then Booker went for the throat. I don't believe you were truthful during your confirmation hearing. Patel's confirmation hearing. January 30th, 2025. Senator Booker asked him directly, "Are you aware of any plans or discussions to punish in any way, including termination, FBI agents or personnel associated with Trump investigations? Yes or no?" Patel's answer, "I am not aware of that." But according to the lawsuit, 2 days before that hearing, on January 28th, Patel was in meetings where Stephen Miller demanded that DOJ leadership not just terminate specific officials, but expedite those terminations. Patel told the Senate he was unaware of plans to punish agents, even though he was actively carrying them out. At Patel and said clearly, "I'm not going to mince words. I don't believe you were truthful." Patel tried to deflect, but Booker continued pressing him. Employing employees based solely on the cases that they are investigating, their case assignments, is illegal, and you know that. This is the key point. U.S. law prohibits retaliation against federal employees for performing their official duties. Investigating crimes is their job, and firing them for doing so is not just unethical. It is criminal lawsuit directly. According to a federal lawsuit, Patel admitted that the termination of Brian Driscoll and others was likely illegal, but had to be done because the Trump White House demanded it. Patel could not deny it, as the lawsuit quotes his own words. If Driscoll were lying, he would be under penalty of perjury, but Driscoll is a decorated 25-year FBI veteran who led the hostage rescue team, and few believe he is lying. Escalates. Booker then asked a simple question. Have there been any FBI agents who investigate crimes against children that have been assigned to immigration enforcement? It's a legitimate question. Patel had reassigned hundreds of agents from violent crime, cybercrime, and child exploitation cases to immigration enforcement. According to a statement from Senator Warner, experienced FBI agents who were originally trained to investigate child exploitation cases have now been reassigned to work on visa overstay investigations. Booker shot back, "I believe you're failing as a leader, and your failure does have serious implications for the safety and security of Americans and our families. We're more vulnerable to domestic and foreign attacks because of your failures as a leader. I don't think you're fit to head the Bureau." The line that will be remembered. "Here's the thing, Mr. Patel. I think you're not going to be around long. I think this might be your last oversight hearing." Why? Because Booker said this because he understands how Trump operates. You supplicate yourself to the will of Donald Trump and not the Constitution of the United States of America. Donald Trump has shown us in his first term, and in this term, he is not loyal to people like you. He will cut you loose. This Patel is carrying out Trump's orders by illegally firing agents and damaging the FBI's credibility. He has admitted to these actions, and when it is no longer convenient, Trump may dismiss Patel as he has done with others. His may be the last time I have a hearing with you, because I don't think you're long for your job. The screaming match. The heated exchange is it. He erupted. That rant of false information does not bring this country together. False information. According to CNN transcripts, although Patel dismissed the information as false, the lawsuit filed in federal court actually cites Patel's own statement. My God, are you going to lecture me about dividing this country? I follow you on your social media posts that tear this country apart." Patel started screaming, it's my time to speak." Booker yelled back, "You are an embarrassment to the division in this country. Your time is over." Patel, red-faced, shouting, "You don't tell me my time is over. You had your time." Booker, now on his feet, "Sir, you don't tell me my time is over. The people of New Jersey tell me what my time is. You can't lecture me, sir." Chairman Chuck Grassley slammed his gavel. "Order, order. Senator Booker, this back and forth doesn't work." Booker, still shouting, "I watched him talk over us and you never once criticized him. He's been rude and disrespectful to senator after senator." Patel tried to regain control, listing FBI statistics. "If the FBI under my 7-month leadership were failing this administration and this country, why do we have 23,000 violent felons arrested this year alone?" According to PBS News, Booker argued that the arrests were made by field agents who were being dismissed under Patel's leadership, suggesting these successes happened despite Patel's actions rather than because of them. The line that will define this hearing. Patel trying to intimidate, "I'm not going anywhere." Booker staring him down, "You may be in charge of the FBI, but I am not afraid of you, SIR. Not afraid of you." The chamber fell silent. Gasps. Cameras zoomed in as the chamber grew silent and the gavel sounded again. An FBI director. That's a black man who grew up fighting for civil rights telling a Trump loyalist that intimidation won't work. Why this matters? This isn't about partisan politics. It is about the rule of law. According to a federal lawsuit filed by 3 decorated FBI officials, he fired them knowing it was likely illegal. He admitted he did it because the White House demanded it. He admitted he did it to keep his own job. That is not law enforcement. It is corruption. The FBI is supposed to be independent, insulated from political pressure, investigating crimes based on evidence, not on who the president likes or doesn't like. Under Patel, the FBI has acted as Trump's personal enforcement arm. Agents who investigated Trump, worked on January 6 cases, or were falsely accused of involvement have been fired. According to the Washington Post, Patel responded to the questioning by accusing Democrats of grandstanding and seeking to score political points during several heated exchanges at the Senate hearing. The bigger picture. 3 fired agents filed this lawsuit, but how many others have been pushed out? How many have resigned rather than participate in illegal conduct? How many are afraid to speak up because they've seen what happens to those who do? The lawsuit states that Patel's actions have degraded the country's national security by firing 3 of the FBI's most experienced operational leaders. Each of them experts in P. These were not ordinary bureaucrats. Brian Driscoll led the hostage rescue team, which handles the most dangerous operations. Stephen Jensen managed the Washington field office during complex investigations. Spencer Evans was a special agent with decades of experience. Their lawyer, Chris Madey, said it plainly. They're firing from the FBI taken together. The FBI director admitted to illegal conduct that puts Americans at greater risk, and he did so to please Donald Trump, and he did it to plead. Here is a clear timeline of events, eruption. Let's lay out the timeline clearly. January 20, 2025, Trump was inaugurated. January 27, 2025, M.L. Bove demands lists of agents who worked on January 6 and Trump cases. January 28, 2025, meetings about accelerating terminations of these agents. January 30, 2025, Patel's confirmation hearing where he claims to be unaware of plans to punish agents. February 21, 2025, Patel confirmed as FBI Director. May 2025, Dan Bongino orders Jensen to fire Walter Giudina. August 5, 2025, Patel tells Driscoll the firings are likely illegal but must happen. August 6, 2025, Driscoll, Jensen, Evans, Giudina, and Mayer all fired. September 10, 2025, lawsuit filed exposing Patel's admissions. September 16, 20. Every step has been documented, every conversation is on the record, and every admission is preserved. Every admission. According to a report from PBS NewsHour, the lawsuit against Patel remains active, alleging that he acknowledged to one of the fired agents that the dismissals were likely illegal, but claimed he could not intervene due to pressure from the White House and the Justice Department. He will have to answer for every firing and every admission ring. Every admission, every lie. If the lawsuit succeeds, Driscoll, Jensen, and Evans will be reinstated. They'll get back pay. And Patel will be exposed as someone who admitted to calm. If the lawsuit fails, it will not be because Patel was innocent, but because judges may decide the president has unchecked power to fire anyone for any reason, regardless of legality. Regardless of the outcome, the truth is public. Patel admitted his actions were illegal, yet he did them anyway. When confronted, he had no defense except to raise his voice at a senator, Nader. The Booker line. I'm not afraid that those 5 words represent something larger. Throughout history, power has often relied on fear. Dictators remain in power when people are afraid to speak up, and corrupt officials survive when witnesses fear retaliation. However, when someone refuses to be afraid and stands up to wrongdoing, corruption begins to collapse. All Cory Booker, Brian Driscoll, Stephen Jensen, and Spencer Evans were not afraid. They understood there would be consequences. Driscoll knew he would be fired, and Booker knew he would be criticized, but they spoke out anyway. That's courage and patriotism defending the Constitution rather than a president. Rasai. Kash Patel wrote a book called Government Gangsters. In it, he railed against the deep state, weaponizing the FBI for political purposes. He accused career officials of illegally targeting Trump. Now Patel is doing exactly what he once accused others of, weaponizing the FBI, targeting career officials, admitting the actions are illegal and proceeding because Trump demands it. This is staggering, but it's also predictable. Authoritarians always accuse others of what they themselves are doing. It provides cover. It muddies the water. It makes people think both sides do it. But neither side does it. However, in this case, one FBI director fired agents who investigated the president, admitted it was illegal, and did so to protect his own job. The victim list. Let's name them, the people Patel fired for doing their jobs. Brian Driscoll, 25 years FBI, hostage rescue team commander, acting FBI director, fired for refusing to provide agent rosters for a political purge. Stephen Jensen, decades of service, Washington field office leader, coordinated January 6th investigations, fired for investigating crimes. Spencer Evans, special agent in charge, Las Vegas, terrorism expert, fired on a pretext about COVID policies. Walter Giudina worked on Mueller and Jack Smith investigations, also investigated Democrats, professional, nonpartisan, fired for touching Trump cases. Chris Mayer, FBI pilot, falsely accused online, fired despite having nothing to do with Mar-a-Lago. And according to the lawsuit, many more are affected. The complaint references summary terminations of multiple agents. The exact number is unknown, but it may be revealed during discovery. An FBI agent is reading this. The message from Patel is clear. Investigate Trump, lose your job. It doesn't matter if you're a decorated veteran. It doesn't matter if you're a terrorism expert. It doesn't matter if you followed every rule and did your job professionally. If you touched a Trump case, you're a target. Anyone who worked on a Trump case became a target. Work. Agents shouldn't have to worry about whether investigating a crime will cost them their career. That's how authoritarian regimes operate, not democracies. The constitutional crisis. This is bigger than Patel. This is a test of whether this issue is larger than Patel. It is a test of whether the United States still upholds the rule of law. Who investigated him? Can an FBI director admit those firings are illegal and do them anyway? Can law enforcement become a tool of political revenge? If the answer is yes, we don't have a justice system. If the answer is yes, then the country does not have a justice system but a loyalty system, and the Constitution loses its meaning. The country together. But you know what divides a country? Illegal conduct by law enforcement, political purges, retribution against people who did their jobs. You know what unites a country? What unites a country is equal justice under the law, accountability, and truth. The principle that no one is above the law. Patel was dividing it by insisting that Trump's loyalists are. Final thoughts. September 16, 2025 will be remembered. September 16, 2025 will be remembered as the day an FBI director was confronted with evidence of his own admitted crimes, had no answer except to raise his voice, and faced a senator who refused to be intimidated. DS will echo. Because they need to. Because as long as people are afraid, corruption wins. As long as witnesses stay silent, crimes go unpunished. As long as senators back down, directors like Patel can do whatever they want. But Cory Booker didn't back down. However, Cory Booker and Driscoll did not back down, and many Americans watching will not either. It's in a lawsuit, under penalty of perjury, and no amount of screaming or deflecting will change. The truth is now public, the evidence is preserved, and justice, though it may be slow, is on its way. If you want to stay informed, subscribe and share. While mainstream media may move on quickly, we will continue to follow this lawsuit, track every development, and demand accountability. Because if an FBI director can admit to crimes and keep his job, the system is broken. And it's up to us, not politicians, not institutions, but regular people. Share your thoughts below. Do you think Patel will be held accountable? Will these agents get their jobs back? What should happen to an FBI director who admits to illegal conduct? This is not entertainment. It is a fight for the integrity of American law enforcement. And it is happening now. Happening right now. We are not afraid either. Not afraid of you. Neither are we.